कभी ठंड में थितर कर देख लेना, कभी तपती धूप में जल कर देख लेना। कैसे होती है मुल्क की हिफाजत, कभी सरहद पार चल कर देख लेना। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी, मैं मलेका। नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल, एंड all the live learners out there, a big welcome to you all. Today is very special because it's our very first episode of Real Heroes of India, and we could not have been more privileged to have the web talk with Wing Commander PK Dhaka sir. What can I say about Sir that has not been said before? He joined the Air Forces in 1990 as a technical airman, and while he was in service, he completed his qualifications and got selected as a commissioner for the technical branch in 2003. His initial training was done in the Indian Air Force Academy in Hyderabad, followed by a specialist training as aeronautical engineer at Air Force Technical College in Bangalore. What he has done is he specialized in the weapon system and missiles, a big one there, sir. And while holding all these important positions, Sir has also managed to complete his law degree from Kurukshetra University. There are very, very few officers who have been able to do this and play dual roles post that. What Sir has done afterwards has also played the role as an engineering officer while being a legal advisory. He is somebody with great competence and expertise, as we all know. And after completing 27 glorious years of service, he has now retired and serves as a lawyer and an educator. And we cannot be more happy and proud that he has chosen to spend this day with us. Sir, we are really happy to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Malika. Thank you. And Jahin, thanks for the nice words. It is my pleasure.
So, sir, as you know, we will be asking you certain questions related to your experience,
Yeah.
your journey with the Air Force, and all the challenges that you faced along with it. I am sure this is going to help a lot of young aspirants out there to get a little bit of an inside look into our armed forces.
Yes, yes.
Great. So, sir, the first question is, what does the Indian Air Force mean to you, and how has your journey been as an Air Force officer?
Malika, I joined service at a very early age. That is, I say around when I was 17 years only. I lived my golden years in Air Force, and it was a way of life for last 27 years. In 2003, I was commissioned in engineering branch. Same time, I had the legal qualifications also. So I wore many hats like an aeronautical engineer, as an HR officer, and also the legal advisor to Air Force. Truly speaking, this has been a fantastic journey. These are the great years which I cherish now. Even my family, they cherish now.
That is great to hear, sir. That is seriously great to hear. So, my next question is, did you make a conscious decision to choose the Air Force, or were you open to working in the Navy and Army as well?
No, of course, it was a conscious decision only because my home, my native place, it is near to Air Force Station Hindon. So especially whenever there used to be a overhead fighter flying, it used to motivate me. Further, the only aim was to go in defense services because my previous two generations had served the military services. Luckily, I applied for Air Force, and in my first chance itself, I got it. So there was no question of any other option. Before I could attain my majority, I was in uniform.
So that is truly inspirational. You've been dreaming of this since you were really young. Here comes the obvious question, sir. What motivated you and inspired you? I know you covered a bit of it, but a little more about, because you would definitely need a lot of motivation to get into something so challenging.
So definitely, Malika, when we think about the uniform, the glamour of uniform, we always visualize the challenges associated with it, the respect, the discipline, life, and especially the people who are surrounding an officer in defense forces they themselves are very dedicated, disciplined, and educated personnel. It's a totally different walk of life. It is an ideal situation to serve and to remain. Moreover, Air Force it is a elite aviation force, so it comes at the top of all services. What I used to think, and that was the reason that I joined the Air Force, and I am really proud of it. And it was a very good decision by the great of Almighty.
Great. That is that is really amazing to hear, sir. Sir, I'm sure the journey has not been easy and you have faced a lot of challenges and obstacles on the way. Would you like to throw some light on those, sir?
Yes, definitely. Long back in 1990s, things were not as easy accessible to as today they are in the era of the availability of internet, web, and all these things. Neither the kind of school, especially in the rural India, were that so good as these are today. So initially, I faced little bit of difficulty, especially only in English communication. But our teachers were very dedicated, and we had a very strong basis like grammar, basic mathematics, basic science, and all these things. So the moment I brushed up my knowledge, I did little bit, rather not only little bit, enough physical training even before going to Air Force. And the moment I inducted in service, within 1 to 2 months, I came across all these kind of hurdles because we got a great environment there. And once you qualify the All India level examination and you are cleared by SSB, there is nothing which can come in the way as a hurdle. The training and grooming of military academy can sail through any problem. It is not about only service, but even real life. It helps you out.
That's great. I'm sure it has really toughened you up and you can face any challenges. I
Yes,
mean, you've
absolutely,
definitely faced more
absolutely.
challenges than any average Indian or any average
Yes,
person
you are
like us.
mentally tough. Yes, when you are in military service, you got to be mentally tough and physically agile. So it helps you out in all this kind.
That is great, sir. I know we threw a little light on this when we introduced you, but tell us all about how did you start and when and where did you start your training?
Uh, my At the time after the commissioning in 2003, I just take out from there. My basic training it happened at Air Force Station Hyderabad. Dundigal is a place in the outskirts of Hyderabad. In the basic 6 months of training, it includes physical and field club military training, like also management and flying familiarization. After you complete the 6 month of strenuous training, I was engineering officer, so I was sent for further training to Air Force Technical College, which is the premier institute to imparting engineering education to Air Force officer. It is available. It is other located in Bangalore. So around 1.5 year, I was at Bangalore for my specialization training, where I did specialization in missile technology and weapon system. Even after completion of your training from the Air Force Technical College, an officer is generally assigned short and long or medium type of courses in between. These courses are conducted in the different institutes run by Air Force or even by civil like IIT, and some courses are even conducted abroad also in the foreign services, foreign soil also. The basic training is at Hyderabad and Bangalore, and otherwise in military you have to have the continuous training so that you can have the opportunity to achieve highest degree of excellence in your profession.
That is true. So it's like a saying that you never stop learning, right? And especially in your field, I'm pretty sure every day you'd have to learn multiple things at once.
Yes, definitely.
Great to hear, sir. Very specifically, what part of the training phase was the hardest?
In fact, when you get from the civil life to military training academies, the initial part is quite difficult because you are not accustomed to the grind of life where which is you are supposed to undergo and learn. Physical and mental, they both kind of staminas are required to be built during initial phase of time so that you can continue with it. So Initially, the training at Air Force Academy was a bit difficult, but that too only initially for 2 3 months. Once your body and mind is acclimatized to it, they get accustomed and it is tuned. Now it is after that, it always looks like it's a thrill. And today, when we remember, it is really a time of joy.
But sir, I'm very sure that it was your will that pushed you through all those harder parts
Yes,
of your training. Sir,
indeed, indeed.
let's go to a lighter note or a more special note that, why don't you tell us about your achievements or what are you most proud of having achieved and some special moments you had during your service?
Malika, in the life of a military officer, daily there are new challenges. Daily, life is not monotonous there because it's not a corporate place. It's not a common thing that you morning go do your routine work and come back. Everything is to be done within a strict parameters, strict time, and as per the procedure, so that they are the minimum casualties or anything during the operations. Since I was in the missile systems as an engineer, so I had the opportunity to handle test and test fire. We have test fired some advanced missiles at the range. I was also a number of times as a team leader to diffuse and explode the unexploded bombs which could even destroy the entire city. Like you see sometimes in the movies, one is small bomb and somebody will go wearing the suit and will do that thing. That is not actually happened. When you go and yourself personally you have to defuse the bomb, it is the question of your life and death. The moment you commit one silly mistake, everything is over. But it is the training, it is the procedures, and it is the discipline which sails you through all these things.
Sir, that is very enlightening and scary to be honest to hear. But like this just goes to show that how something that we just only see in movies is so life threatening in real for all the people who are serving our nation out there. Sir, getting to what you were talking about it not being a typical day. So tell us how your typical day would look like. What like did you all have a number of hours or how did you work?
Uh, Especially during the training, we get up around 4 o'clock or 4:30. By 5 o'clock, you are in the field for health run and some physical exercise. Once you are freed from there, you get some time for yourself and go after that go for breakfast in the officers mess, cadet mess rather. Having the breakfast, again one part of the physical exercise in form of drill, that is parade that goes daily. You are in the drill square or in the parade ground. After you are trained in or you have taken your complete lessons in the parade, there is a ground faculty in the Air Force Academy for the base subjects. That subjects like military technology, like your management, some law, accounts, all kind of subjects which is you are required to perform. Those are taught to you. That is the initial 6 months. After then you come for the lunch around 2:30. Having lunch in the mess, you get little bit of time for setting up your rooms or your cabin. And in the afternoon, the time is for the games, sports, and extracurricular activities. After the games and sports and PT, you are back to your own time. And by the time you get settled, it's the dinner time. Have the dinner again, go for the self study. In between, there are certain activities which are unstructured, but those are very necessary. Like your seniors can call you anytime. He will groom you. If you committed any mistake, he will teach you first in a soft way and then in a hard way, so that you'll never forget those things. And this is the really one of the beauty of the military training. In the weekends, there are hobby clubs and cultural activities. So during the training, you are completely in the spin. Your 1 minute also matters, but that teaches you the how an individual should be there and how he should perform in his remaining life.
That is so you basically just don't do this for a few hours in a day. It's the lifestyle you have chosen for the longest time to be able to serve the nation. It's a discipline
Yes,
you have to inculcate.
yes,
That is
yes, yes.
great.
The purpose
So
of training is that only.
yeah. And sir, like you were saying that you did have a few activities that you used to take, extracurriculars and things like that. So did you have any free time to be able to do something that you would like?
Initially, during the training, the time is lesser, but when you are inducted or you are commissioned as an officer, certainly you get some time, and that free time is generally used for your personal development, for your families. There are numerous clubs and facilities in almost all military stations, like sports complex, swimming pool, golf course, library. Some adventure activities are there, and there are plenty of social activities which brings you and your subordinate or your families closer, because it's a military and it's a family environment. So that time is always used for the positive purpose, and some those who want to inculcate additional values or additional things. For example, law was my one of the my interest apart from my basic professional qualifications. So I used to work out in that. So there people go for codings, software, and somebody will go for music. It's an individual, but you get a time and you get all the facilities there.
That is great. Great. Sir, so my next question would be, how has technology changed in the way armed forces operating now compared to when you had joined and now?
When we joined service back in 1990, computer was not in seen. Everything was done by hand, physically. Let it be even conduct of the classes, or let it be even the machines, everything. But now, in the long way, Indian Air Force has become a technology-driven force. We have a very strong communication and computer network. Most of our machines are uh, automated, and their dependence on human is very, very less. There is very less human intervention, because in the modern world, technology helps in identifying and striking the enemy location quickly and with least collateral damage. It was unlike earlier, when if suppose we want to go and drop the bomb at particular place, or we want to hit a particular location, we were not having that. Were not that type of used to be on the map and physical intelligence. Now it is everything is available in our machines. We can drop the munitions at a very pinpoint. Same time, if suppose there are any threat, suppose threat perceptions are there from enemy side, we have the technology to know it well in advance. We can prepare our defense and we can neutralize that threat even in the air. These are the benefits. You might have heard there are remotely piloted aircraft.
Yes.
They can even go deep into the enemy territories. We have the advanced missile systems which have the satellite link. So these are the benefit of the technology, where uh, human intervention is lesser and output is more.
I'm sure like it's also absolutely necessary in the times of today because
Yes.
like you spoke about enemy borders and things like that, even they are getting advanced as we speak, so it's important to be updated.
Yes. Indian Air Force is going to become space force very shortly. Very shortly, we are going to become space force. We can strike anywhere in the world with a minimum human intervention.
That is great. Sir, so I'm going to ask you something which is a concern that has been raised over the years, and it's, I'm sure you being inside of the academy could give us a bit of an insight. What could be the challenges for a woman inside the Indian Air Force?
In fact, we in India, we are the you can say, we had some mental blockade of our mindset with respect to women being in defense services, but practically they have negated it. If you ask me personally or professionally, there is no such challenge for the women, especially in India. Especially in Indian Air Force, their maximum number of women officers are there, and they are in all kind of branches, be it engineer, be it fighter controller. Recently, even few lady officers have been inducted, and they have qualified their ops training in the fighter aircraft also. So absolutely now things have changed. It was only the mental blockade it used to be earlier. Now things are totally changed. There's you can say there's no gender inequality in Indian Air Force. Everybody is comfortable. Absolutely, there's no problem.
I think that would be a delight to hear for all the women viewers out there that guys, you should. I think we all should also contribute equally in the defense of our country.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
Sir is saying that things have definitely changed, and there is a future for women in the industry. So I hope a lot of women are inspired by this talk, sir. Sir, give us some examples so that we can also bank upon any movement officers that
Yes,
you
yes.
could count as an example, or who could treat as an inspiration for all our women viewers.
There had been many officers who had professionally excelled in their branches. Recently, you might have read in the newspaper also, like squadron leader Minty Agarwal. She was awarded the Yuddha Seva Medal
Yes,
during this Pakistani standoff, during this Balakot strike. She was a fighter controller, and she is the non figure now in our country. There had been one air marshal, but she was in the medical branch. First air marshal, I think her name was Air Marshal Padma Bandyopadhyay. She has reached the great heights in the medicines in the military services. Name like Wing Commander Nirupma Pandey, Scholar Nivedita Chaudhary, and Scholar Tulika Rani. They are the few famous mountaineers of Indian Air Force. They had been access rather some at some places than their male counter highest Everest and all.
that is great. I think we have a lot of examples out there which we don't hear of generally.
Yes.
I'm glad you've taken out a lot more names, and of course, only few of with respect to the whole service industry, only few people get highlighted. Amongst them, even women are much lower. But thank you so much for throwing light on them, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, my next question is, how would you describe the hierarchy in the Indian Air Force?
That's the in Indian Force, the rank structure you just want to know from the officers cadre, that is commissioned ranks. You join academy as a flight cadet. Once you are commissioned, you are given a rank of flying officer. That is the youngest officer or junior most officer. Like in police, it is equivalent to the ACP, Assistant Commissioner of Police, or DSP in civil parlance. Then comes after 2 years, he is promoted to the rank of flight lieutenant after passing certain examinations and certain criteria. All the promotions are strictly based on merit as well as some basic criteria and the performance. It is not like in civil streets that anybody join today as a you can first grade officer. After 20 years, you will become a joint director or deputy director. No, it's not like that. Only merit matters in military services. From squadron flight lieutenant, the next promotion comes to squadron leader, and then is the wing commander. It's considered a senior officer. From the wing commander, then they are basically in the planning sides. Group captains, air commodore. Air commodore is equivalent to brigadier in Indian Army. He has the one big station under him. Then comes air vice marshal, that is equivalent to major general in Indian Army, and air marshal. Air marshal is the equivalent to general, and then comes to the chief of air staff. He is the head of the force.
That is great. I think you threw light on a very important point there, that nobody can help you inside. You will have to keep working hard to rise in the ranks,
Yes,
because
definitely.
there is no compromise when it comes to defense of the country.
Yes.
Sir, I would like you to try to sum up your journey in saying, highlighting the three life lessons you have learned from the Indian Air Force.
See, I learned one thing, that it does not matter what you had been, what your past had been. It matters what you want to be and how you aim to achieve your desired goal. If you are sincere, if your efforts are constant, your endeavors are constant, with meticulous planning, you can achieve any imaginable goals. Absolutely. There is no look back in that.
That is great. I think that pretty much summarizes a lot of your journey, saying that it is very important that we keep looking forward. Sir, a piece of tips or tricks that you would like to share with the students who are preparing for the defense exam? What should they concentrate on and what shouldn't they concentrate on?
So definitely, if the students or candidate has made up his mind that I want to join the defense services, very basic things he has to do it. It is not a rocket science. It's not so difficult, but definitely if you don't put up the efforts in the right direction, it is impossible. But initially, you distribute your planning in two ways: academics and physical. You should have your strong basics. I'll say basics only, like your mathematics, your language, English language, logical reasoning, and general knowledge. That is only up to class 12th. You need not to be M.Tech level or B.Tech level. These are the minimum basics. Once you are strong in that, that means your first step is over. Same time, you should keep your body in the good shape. Body keeping the body in good shape means you have to be physically very alert and you should develop the stamina. There had been the chances when the boys or cadets have gone to NDA, but they could not clear the 20 kilometers or 15 kilometers run. They were the best in their mind. Definitely, they could be intellectually, they are more this thing, but not physically. Also, you need to be equally strong.
Yeah, I think that is something that people would miss out, saying that let me prepare for the exams and then
Exactly.
concentrate on physical. I think that's a very important tip for all the aspirants out there. Now, some advice to them, sir, like some motivational advice so that, they go for it and go through the whole process and make sure they crack the exam.
So definitely, first of all, you should live your dream. LIVE, not LEAVE. And you should not desire, but you deserve it. Once you live that kind of life, you deserve it. Make your basics strong. Regularly read newspapers and a good magazine. You need not to go too much berserk in that. Develop your own analytical mind. It is not somebody else is saying. Develop yourself. Like what are your strengths and what are your weakness. There is nobody in this world who know better than yourself that what are your strength and what are your weakness. Always hone your strength and remove your weakness. Keep the body and mind in the fit state. Do regular physical exercise and definitely stay. Moreover, there is like SSB. SSB is a personality test. So personality cannot be made overnight. You have to take a conscious decision that I sit among good people, I read the good literature, I take initiative at my home, I learn how to manage the things. So these are the very basic things. If you consider yourself as a gentleman, you have the greatest chances of success. First, you have to become a gentleman.
Thank you so much, sir. That was so insightful. I cannot tell you. Like, truly has been very inspirational and motivating. I hope this helps all the learners out there to also go and live their dream, the LIVE of their
Yes.
dream. And, more than thanking you for just doing the session, I would like to, on behalf of whoever is watching or the behalf of our country, thank you so much for serving our nation. Thank you so much for putting your life out there and making sure that we are the best. We have the best defense and we all can sleep safe. And thank you very much for dedicating your life and skills to us, sir.
Thank you, Malika. It is my pleasure. You gave me an opportunity to speak to the people. Those are interested, those are inspired, and those feel that they should be part of our military services. Military and especially Air Force is a great organization. Nothing is like that. There is no organization in the world like these services. I can say with pride, with confidence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Jai Hind.
जय हिंद।